This talk is going to be about LGBTQ plus representation in school libraries and how COVID-19 has impacted not only the visibility of LGBTQ individuals, but also their experiences. First, we're going to look at sort of the situation prior to 2020, take a look at some of the consequences that the pandemic has had, and then look at some possible harm reduction measures to be taken by schools and libraries. To start with, we have this great infographic of a 2018 report from the American Association of School Libraries. This has a lot of great information on it, but I'd like to call your attention specifically to this part right here, where it says that students in schools with more LGBTQ plus representation in their school library were more likely to feel safe at school. This brings us to the now, in which social distancing and quarantine measures have served to decrease positive social interactions, increase negative social interactions, and calls into account some anxieties around household stability and employment, either for themselves or for their primary providers. Since they no longer have access to the library in what would hopefully have been an unfettered way that they would have had in the school setting, the representation that they may have had is even now less accessible, if not outright gone. So, seeing one's own identity reflected in literature creates an experience that is bibliotherapeutic. It helps marginalized individuals to feel seen and recognized as having a valid identity that is capable of existing in the real world. So, how do you bring this experience to students in their particular times? If you as a media specialist still have access to the school library, I'd like to highly encourage you to make displays out of the materials that you have access to and post those photos and elaborations of these displays on social media, the school site, or however your school is handling deliverables and announcements right now. No matter the topic of your display, include at least one material that is explicitly LGBTQ plus inclusive. So, as an example, I work at a public library that's been operating at a full access, though limited function, since July. November, which is this month, has Transgender Awareness Week, which leads all the way up to Transgender Day of Remembrance. So, for the young adult area, I created this display here on the right. And also helped curate an online list of trans materials that the library had on hand for all age groups. So both the list and the display photo were placed online on the library's Facebook page, and they were both fairly well received, but I mostly had an opportunity to watch a young person stumble upon the display here within the library and watch their reaction, and they cried. They took pictures of it. They kept coming back to just stand in front of it, gently picking up some of the books, flipping through them. They actually ended up checking out one of the books with me at the circulation desk, and I don't know if they knew it was me personally who made the display, but they thanked me in a manner that I assume was meant for the library as a whole for having the display up. So I can only begin to wonder what sort of impact just seeing that display had on this one person. But even if they were the only one to see it, I'd gladly build 100 displays to grant someone that experience of validation. And it's such a simple act that could mean the world to someone. So I would really hope that you would do the same as far as display creation to make people feel a little safer, a little more protected in their homes. Thank you.